All right, we are back. TJ Watt, very happy with his contract extension. We're going to talk in this section, teams being weird and does it matter is how I'm going to phrase these next three stories that we're going to talk about. And we're going to start here back in the AFC North with Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart contracts. Neither one of those guys are in camp. Trey Hendrickson apparently told Manti Te'o that his contract offer is atrociously low. He then proceeded to post an Instagram story in Florida yesterday as the Bengals are opening camp in Ohio. Those two states are not close if you're not a U.S. geography expert. Mike Brown then proceeded to talk about Trey Hendrickson, calling him an emotional guy, and then also questioned the advice that Shamar Stewart was taking. So, yikes. I mean, and Joe Burrow spoke today and said, you wish that everybody was here, but sometimes that's how these things happen. So it's
a very diplomatic answer.
Very diplomatic answer by a guy that did get his money and did get his two guys on offense paid. So we got that done, but we have not accomplished anything in terms of this Trey Hendrickson extension. And Shamar Stewart obviously is still not under contract. I guess they're two separate situations. We don't have to approach this all with just Bengals are the Bengals, but do we think this Trey Hendrickson situation gets resolved before week one? Because I think of all the holdouts that are going on right now, he's one guy that I could actually see missing games.
It's tough because now, we were talking about CBA to start the show. If you're a veteran player, like Shamar Stewart is okay.
Yeah.
But if you're a veteran player who doesn't show up to camp, you get fined $50,000 a day. A day. Like, okay, I don't think this is going to be as extreme what happened last year with the Jets and Hassan Reddick, but he lit millions of dollars on fire by the time that it was over, and then he joined so late that he was kind of out of shape and didn't play well. And now, if you're an average NFL fan, could you tell me what team Hassan Reddick plays for? Right, that's kind of what happened to him after last season. It's kind of weird to frame this as are they being weird? Because I just think this is more the Bengals being the Bengals. I mean, think about how long it took them to pay Jamar Chase and contract disputes that they've had in the past. So the part that is just kind of confusing to me is you have this window right now. Like every year that you have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, you're going to be one of the best offenses of football, which means that you have a Super Bowl window. Why not just maximize it? I mean, it's not like this team is starved for cap space over the next few years. Like they have money to potentially pay Trey Hendrickson whatever he wants for maybe 2 years, and then you're probably going to get out of it because he is 30. It's not like this is going to be a long-term deal. I don't really understand why they're not just kind of going for it more. And I know that this is what Mike Brown does. It's kind of what the Bengals do. I'm not sure how their fans hearing that, but I mean, there's one team that people make fun of for being cheap, and it's Bengals. They're even their staff is smaller than what a lot of NFL teams are working with. So I really just think they need to get over this and just figure out what it takes to get Shamar and Trey into camp, because that defense was terrible last year. Terrible.
Right.
And that was with Trey Hendrickson. And I think there's a world where you can construct a team where, okay, we're going to dump it on them on offense and hopefully we can turn up the heat on the pass rush, and that will shore up some of the problems that we had last year. But if your top two pass rushers aren't in camp, then that plan falls apart immediately. So I just find it a little baffling that they're not willing to maybe make a bigger compromise here, but also don't know the insides and outs of all the negotiations that are going on. But whenever an owner is coming out and calling one of his best players, what did he call him? Emotional guy? A really emotional guy?
He said, this is the quote. This is from Mike Brown. And this is the part that I think is weird. It's not as much the contract as this part. He said, I think it'll get done. We like Trey as a person. He's a good guy. But when it comes to these negotiations, and we've been through a few of them, he pushes hard. He gets emotional. He never has an easy time of it, but that's one thing that is consistent.
I mean, he's only got one shot to make this money. Why would you? Right. Why would you stop? Or why would you be complacent with this? I don't know. I just don't really like how they get down. It's really confusing to me. And if you're not going to pay Trey Hendrickson, then just trade him. Like, you could have at least gotten a pick back for him that you could have used on draft pick that you didn't want to pay at some point. So it's just it's just really weird. Like, you have a Super Bowl window, you have a franchise quarterback, you have one of the best offenses in football. Maximize it. Let's go. Like, you're not going to beat the Ravens with the defense you have currently now. If Trey and Shamar aren't in the best shape, you're going to give up 40 points a game. So let's lock in. Come on, Mike.
Yeah, it just needs to get done, or like there needs to be some resolution here. Like, yeah, you got to trade him at this point if you're not going to sign him to that deal, because, now those picks are not going to help you this year, and you're not going to get like some, I don't know, after the Jalen Ramsey for Minka Fitzpatrick / Jonnu Smith with a couple of random picks, maybe player for player trades are back on the menu here in the NFL, but I tend to be skeptical that they're going to flip Trey Hendrickson for somebody who's going to help their defense this year. So yeah, like this is the window, and look, Burrow said it very well. Like the window is as long as I'm here. Although that being said, like they have not been one of the best teams in the AFC. They certainly were not last year because of the defense, and that's the part that has to be. If I was a Bengals fan, it would just be very frustrating to me. And yeah, I don't know like like you said, I don't know the ins and outs of the negotiation. I'm not smart enough from a contract perspective to really break down what Shamar Stewart wants versus what the Bengals aren't giving him and all that stuff. But, I'm certainly never going to cape up for the teams and say like, oh yeah, let's haggle over a few $1,000,000 here or there. Like this just needs to get done, because you mentioned it. And this is something that I go back to the receivers last year that held out, like CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Ayuk. Those guys held out, and it was to me, it was stupid on both teams' parts. Like you knew you were going to, for Dallas, you knew you were going to pay CeeDee Lamb. And for the 49ers, like again, similar with Trey Hendrickson, you either got to trade him or sign him, but letting it go all the way to the end of the season, both those guys came in and did not play their best football to start the year. And obviously Brandon Ayuk ends up getting hurt, but like, that's what you risk. You're a contending team and you risk getting off to a slow start, which by the way, Cincinnati, that's what you do every single year. Like you lost to the damn Patriots in week 1 as they're just running duo down your throat over and over again. Like, what are we talking about here? So they run the risk of the same problems that happen to them every year. And again, if I was a Bengals fan, maybe you're a little annoyed at the players because that's sometimes how fans get. But to me, I'd be very frustrated that this is the position I'm in.
Yeah. Excuse me. Get your best players on their contracts. You're going to take Lamar Jackson with your backup defensive line? Come on now. Let's go.
Yeah. Speaking of get your players under contract, this is one that I really want to know if you think this matters at all, because Jerry Jones yesterday is at training camp. He's given his usual monologue, his press conference, and then he slips in a couple of weird, like for the most part, I watched a good bit of it because I hate myself. I watched a good bit of it. For the most part, very complimentary of like Micah Parsons and the whole thing, as he's obviously looking to get TJ Watt money plus. And then he says a couple of weird things, including the fact that he's saying like, hey, even if we sign him, we might not have him because last year he missed 6 games when he actually missed 4 games, did Micah Parsons last year. He also then said, hey, I made Dak Prescott the richest player in football. And he missed 2/3 of the year, which is a little bit of he didn't actually miss. I think he missed like half the season. He went out like week 8, week 9. So again, maybe Jerry a little loose with the facts and figures here, but apparently Micah Parsons didn't like it because JJ Watt quote tweeted a comment about this and said, hey, anytime you can take a dig at your star quarterback and your star pass rusher simultaneously right before the season begins, you just got to take it. Nothing makes you want to fight for you more than hearing how upset you are that that players get hurt while fighting for you, basically. So then Micah Parsons retweets it, and then both Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons go out and talk to the media, kind of in discussion of this. And Trayvon Diggs said, like, because he got docked $500,000 for not working out, not rehabbing at the team facility, and said that hurt my feelings. So Trayvon Diggs, yeah, I'm more than my feelings if you heard it. We lost $500K, but that's just me. So yeah, does any of this actually matter though for the Cowboys on the field? Because I'm pretty excited about this team this year, but I do wish that Jerry would not just throw a couple of random, very quotable moments out there.
Yeah, I mean, it matters to the degree that your team could have been better if you did what Micah Parsons said he wanted to do and sign last year. But now But now you've put Micah in a position where he has to F you on this, you know? Like you can't, if you're Micah Parsons, you can't take anything less than what TJ Watt just got. And if you wanted to sign last year, then that's an L on you, because you knew the Myles Garrett contract was coming for a fact. We all knew that was coming, whether it was going to be a Cleveland or it was going to be someone else. We knew that he was going to reset the market on basically non-quarterbacks. And then, maybe you didn't know TJ Watt was going to one-up that, but you had to know it was a possibility. So how do you keep ending up here where your stars aren't getting paid on time? And Micah Parsons even said that he wanted to get paid last year, and that would have put you in a better spot to maybe maximize what you have going on this year. And just in general, maybe Jerry is just, he's not thinking about things the way he used to, or he's coming a little bit harsher as he gets to be, at his age.
What it sounds like is that, like, Jerry Jones is not actually doing any of the negotiating with agents.
Yeah.
His son, Stephen Jones, is doing that. But then, like, Jerry wants to view it as, hey, when I just want to get in the room with Micah and, like, we'll just talk it out. Which, like, that's
not how it works anymore. It's not 1983, You're not paying these guys the amount of money you were back then. Like, they need representation. So I don't know. It's like the story that won't go away. I mean, we've been saying that he should be get paid for like the past year and a half. What are we waiting for? He's going to be on your roster for a long time. He's arguably the best defensive player in the NFL. All three of us had him in, like, at worst, maybe number 2 or worst number 3.
I had 2. Maybe 2, 3.
Right. So this is a guy that everyone agrees is an elite player. I don't understand why they're dragging their feet and then going on and antagonizing about it. Now, do I think it'll affect what's going on in the field? No, because sometimes teams get lucky, right? Where they end up drafting a guy who, like, it would physically hurt them to not be on the field with their teammates to start training camp. And that's kind of where the Cowboys get a win here, right? Because Micah Parsons does not have to show up to training camp if he doesn't want to. I know that, I know he's still on his rookie deal, so I think he would be okay from the fines. So, like, he doesn't have to be here at all. And the fact that he is like a nod to respect to what you guys are trying to build. So you should throw something the other way and get this contract done and just get it out the way, because you all know he's going to be there. So what are we waiting for?
Right. Like, we know how this story ends. Probably 5 days before the season kickoff, we're going to get the news alert that Micah Parsons has signed a deal that, tops TJ Watt. He makes $42 million a year or whatever. And, like, it's done. Like, that's what's going to happen here, just like it happened with CeeDee Lamb. But you're right that the Cowboys are getting off the hook a little bit, that Micah is just, like, you could tell that he's one of these guys who just loves football. He lives for football. And I'm not saying that, CeeDee Lamb doesn't love football or anything, but Lamb, obviously, as is his right, took the choice to not go to camp last year. And I do think that affected the play very minorly at the beginning of the season. Dallas got off to a slow start last year and then eventually lost Dak. Like, they weren't a very good offense to start last year. And this defense needs Micah Parsons, because what I've been saying, that I'm really excited about Dallas's offense this year. Their running back core, let's just yada yada over that for a second. But the offensive line is good. I'm very high on what George Pickens is going to do with CeeDee Lamb this year. Dak is healthy. That's great. They're going to score a lot of points. Defensively, I think as long as you have Micah Parsons, you won't ever be like a 2024 Bengals type defense. He's just too good. But there's a lot of questions elsewhere, including with Diggs in the secondary and what that's going to look like. So you want him to be like 100% invested, 100% present at camp. And at least for that second part, that's at least absolutely true so far.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's just get a move on.
You said they're going to the conference championship game. That was your bold prediction.
Oh yeah, I did say that. I said that at the Super Bowl.
You did say that.
I forgot I said that. I forgot I said that.
I did not forget that, because that was such a great. We've had a nice, smart little breakdown pod. Let's throw some red meat. Let's throw some red meat to do.
No, because at that point. At that point, to tell everyone the truth, I was ready to go outside in New Orleans. And one thing you can't do when you got to go outside is work. So, throw everyone a bone. But, I'm going to stand on that. We'll see if I remember that I said.
I think it could age well. I really do think. I really think they could be. I think
I don't know.
You said it first.
I did say it first. But I didn't mean it. So I'm gonna say in a month we'll see where I feel about my Cowboys conference championship take. I guess I did mean it, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel at the end of August.